But yeah, I really want to see how far Minx, how disconnected Minx is from this entire drama.
Bowblax has teamed up with another fallen off content creator, Minx, in order to try to take a swing at internet versus. When Minx got done with the bottle she was drinking, she randomly decided to make a cryptic tweet that hardly anybody could understand, adding our channel. And at first, everyone in her replies were confused, as they typically are whenever Minx tries to do or say anything. However, Bowblax took this opportunity to attack internet versus and myself out of pure jealousy, claiming I had to study his content for over 6 months because the mystery of reading.
I don't have to say this because it's incredibly obvious, and maybe Connor will say it himself, but creating videos like these is not difficult at all, right? Bowblax is trying to impress Minx and say, hey, I took this person under my wing. I taught him everything he knows. And after I taught him everything he knows, my master craft, my secret formula, he goes right out from under me, steals my formula, and opens his own Krusty Krab. That's what Bowblax is trying to imply here. Right? He's obviously trying to appeal to Minx, but realistically, anybody, by just looking at one of Bowblax's videos, can understand how to create this type of content in literally under an hour. It's not difficult. Right? I don't need to be taught to pick out popular tweets and interesting takes from other individuals and then compile them all in a video with a little bit of my personal opinion sprinkled in between.
Tweets is really deep, and calling me a talentless worm for doing the same easy slop content that he does, except more consistent, after he gave up trying.
Which is true. Bowblax doesn't get to complain about this. They warned him, right? Connor, Augie, Nick, literally everybody warned Bowblax and told him, read the tweets. Just keep making content. Do not let this content model that you have be taken out from under you, because somebody will do that. And they'll expand on it. They'll capitalize on it. They'll make it a lot better. They warned him. They warned him months in advance. And he didn't do shit. He didn't do anything.
Afterwards, Minx revealed she has no idea who I even am despite talking shit, and immediately gave up.
Why was Minx involved with this? Because she's the one who started talking shit for no reason.
Citing too much drama. Welcome to the internet versus Bowblax and Minx. It all starts when Minx tweets out, imagine having an employee secretly prepping against you the whole time and yoinking your friends. Sad losers.
Well, they weren't secretly prepping against him the whole time, right? They were telling him to get his shit together and to start creating content. And if not, somebody else will take out his content model from under him and then do it better, right? As I explained. And then when Bowblax started talking mad shit, after he crashed out, people were like, you know what, fuck you. We'll do it ourselves then. If you don't want to obviously make money from this very easy content model that you have. That's what's going on here. And Minx thinks that these people backstabbed Bowblax when that's not the case.
At Relaxate, at AnonBird, at Bowblax, at AugieRFC, and at Internet Versus. Nicholas Diorio replies, Minx has just found out the Internet Versus Connor lore, and I reply saying, true. Yoinking Augie and Turkey Tom as friends from Bowblax was pivotal to the Internet Versus lore. Killa Season Cam replies, just wait till she reaches the 111 section of the lore book.
It's funny because I love situations where a completely clueless individual tries to chime in on a topic they know nothing about, and then having it blow up in their face when they misinterpreted the situation entirely.
Apollo says, what's still funny to me is that Josh has yet to show any proof when he said that you're a common cop. Tenanza replies to Minx's post by saying,
it's Tenanza!
Engagement and tweeted about something they don't know anything about award.
True!
Froky65 says, slay queen, and Toxic Boy says, work on your alcoholism before you work on beefing with strangers online. AugieRFC replies to Minx by saying, glad you are getting to the bottom of this. And Zipfire replies, better than her getting to the bottom of another bottle. Cam replies to Augie by saying, Mr.
God damn, dude.
Lips won't be happy about this, Augie. And Spondile says, Internet Versus's editor is interested in you. Confusing opinion? You got anything to say for yourself, buddy? Really? Samuel quote tweets Minx with this picture of Bowblax. And then finally Bowblax himself replies to Minx by saying, I know, right? Bro asked to work with me on Twitter Versus, so I let him help me daily for 6+ months, teaching him exactly how I make them. He then makes a channel called Internet Versus, quits, and rips off everything I do exactly.
That's not what occurred. That is not what occurred, if I recall correctly. I think he's being very disingenuous, and I think I think we're about to get more information on it.
Down to even the background music. Talentless worm at RealXA.
Yeah, that's true. X8 revolutionized the niche because Bowblax couldn't. Because Bowblax is a lazy, inept moron that couldn't possibly do any real work to profit off of YouTube. He like hit it hard for like 2 years, and he was like, nah, I'm gonna go full DJ now.
And RoboBitch replies, maybe if you actually made videos, he wouldn't have had to make the channel.
True!
And Nick says, the market wants what the market wants. Baba Yaga says, he does it better than you. Stay mad. And Minx also replies to Bowblax by saying, sad sacks of shit.
It's like she fails to understand. Like, this is the equivalent of like a restaurant shutting down, somebody moving in, purchasing the real estate, and then creating a better restaurant.
Widmark replies to Minx,
do people not understand financial responsibility anymore? As soon as anyone gets money, they end up as Nick Rokita or as Josh, cross-dressing to Unkeemstar. No, because YouTube is an easy way to make money if you can learn how to capitalize off YouTube. And a lot of people, once they get a lot of money, they fail to realize that money is not infinite and that money can be blown through really easily. And in order to actually have a lot of financial security, you need a lot more than just a couple of 6 zeros.
By saying, watch out, taking Bowblax's word for
there's a lot of like morons out there, for example, that think like having $10,000 in their bank account is a lot of money. And don't get me wrong, it is, right? But people will parade like $10,000 around as if it's some huge fucking accomplishment, as if it's some huge financial move. When in reality, those $10,000 can get siphoned within a week's time if you're not careful.
He has lied about having BPD, catfishes people online, and seems to be very manipulative. And Maggot replies, you should watch out taking the word of any stranger online you don't know, regardless of them being a content creator.
What? Maggot is in this? No way.
Not. And Kuno replies, obviously, but with someone as disgusting and brazenly deceitful, it goes 10x. Replies, oh, the irony, Minx. Bowblax was given every benefit of the doubt and was given advice on how to manage his channel by his former friends.
Yeah, this part here is important. This is important. This is important, right? Because Minx is trying to treat Bowblax as somebody who was like taken advantage of, somebody who was like, you know, who's a victim of like, you know, corporate espionage, for lack of better words, right? And having his like, you know, business being stolen from under him. And the reality is that he got lazy. He got complicit with his laziness and he just stopped working and stopped making videos. So the person who was working with him, for him, to make these videos, decides to obviously revitalize the business in his own way and fills a market void.
And all he did was lie to them and talk shit behind their backs with alt accounts in different communities. Yes, Bowblax is a lazy rat of a human. And if you want the context for that, you should watch Internet vs. Stone Dagger, where we revealed Bowblax's secret alt accounts where he was talking shit about Turkey Tom and the commentary community way before any of the fallout even happened. Like Bitterly, who says, Bowblax is just a fallen fan. Don't listen to the noise. I also find it funny when he complains about low video outputs before they crash out like it was Connor's fault. Dude was doing streams all the time. No tweets in the bag. Now look at his output. I don't see Connor being the reason the videos were slow.
Dude, here's the thing too, is like, if Bowblax wants to have an opinion, not that he's intelligent enough to have any opinions, but it's incredibly easy to streamline commentary videos, which essentially is what Twitterverse is, right? Stream about stuff you see on Twitter and about drama that you're looking into, and then turn that into like segments of their own. Turn that into content of his own. Bowblax just really like, you know, Bowblax just really like bit the curb, metaphorically speaking, and like, you know, and like stomped himself, for lack of better words, right? He didn't capitalize on what he had. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers, semi-decent viewership, multiple channels. He wasn't a complete fucking moron either. He could have had at least like some sort of vague commentary and done live streams like these, and he could have like turned them into segments and, you know, capitalized off that as well, but he just didn't. He's completely inept. Like fucking, this is literally like, fuck. Obviously you need to put effort when you're streaming, right? You need to have energy. You need to perform. You need to actually be entertaining. You need to have like levels of something that people are willing to look at you for, right? Which realistically isn't that hard to do. It really isn't that hard to do. You just kind of need to learn how to like make a performance, because that's what matters at the end of the day. Even if you're just pretending, that's what matters. But the point is, so long as you can accomplish that, YouTube is like a free money machine. You can utilize to grow in so many different ways. And Bowblax just never grew on anything.
And Muhammad Khaled says, Minx doing anything to try to claw back a tiny bit of relevancy. And Little Froky65 replies, the Manchi X Just a OnlyFans collab will revive Josie's career. Trust. Griffin says, I really shouldn't be surprised. Like, of course Bowblax couldn't go without clawing and screaming on his way down, but this is still sad to see. I've never seen harder cope than to call Connor a talentless worm. Donovich says in our members-only Discord,
look at Locale Live.
Calling anyone talentless.
True, that's actually a very good comparison.
Is such heavy projection, since his only talent is posting pictures of him.
I mean, some of this is really unnecessary, to be honest. I don't really care about the AGP bullshit. You could just call Bowblax lazy and say that his priorities are in the wrong place, and that's enough.
Shade just dropped, attaching the tweet from Bowblax that we just read. Also, Nick is conveniently left out of the tags by Minx. Is Minx secretly part of the harem? And Vanilla Rice replies, how did Minx get this dude to post his own L? And Midnight says, Big Booba. Pirate Peraspero replies, doesn't bother mentioning that he wasn't making them. He was above it, lol. ETA, how much instruction and effort does he think it takes to make a video like that? Pokemole replies, Minx, you need to quit having domestic disputes live on stream before you start throwing shade again.
Is this true?
And Daimona replies to Bowblax by saying, says the dude who can't even do his job properly, with neither category also saying, coming from the guy who is still upset about Keem kicking him from a Discord group.
I don't care about these Reddit responses. Let's get to this. Connor's response, which is what I care about now.
I finally respond to all of this when I tweet out, saw
Bowblax is talking shit again.
Just put the tweets in the bag, little bro. Attaching this image showing Bowblax's views in the last month being...
Dude, he completely mogged him in views.
194,000.
A channel with a fraction of Bowblax subscribers making similar or more views. And eventually Twitterverse is going to become, like, because they've been ramping up their production too. These people, like, you know, like Connor has been ramping up production. Every single day is a video. Every single day is a video. On like brand new topics as well. Brand new topics every single day. These people are going to very easily reach like, you know, 100,000 subscribers by maybe before the end of the year. Bowblax doesn't have a fucking chance.
And then this image showing internet versus view counts being 195,000 in the last 48 hours.
Dude, at the time of that, they had 17,000 subscribers, and now they have 19,000. These people, dude, 2,000 subscribers within like, hold on. Let's just say 48 hours. 2,000 subscribers within 48 hours. God damn. Do you know how difficult it is for like, you know, for like new channels to like, if they're not backed by anybody? Granted, these people are backed. These people are backed by, like, you know, many vocal figures. Do you know how difficult it is for a brand new channel to even get 1,000 subscribers in a fucking month? Dude.
That's 28 days. Augie RFC replies, earning his monthly check in
let alone 100 subscribers within a fucking month?
A day while he seethes instead of works. And Mario Master replies, well, someone had to take Manchi's spot.
Oh, this guy comments on my videos a lot. I know this guy. Shout out Mario Master.
And
in case you watched this video.
I say, bro doesn't own reading tweets. His spot is still available. He just refuses to work. Maybe Nick will lend him 2K for rent, or OnlyFans will pop off for him. And Marsh replies, joke's on you. Chud Logic is single-handedly funding Bowblax's lifestyle. He can't resist the gawk. Wow. Back over to the Nick tweet talking about the internet versus Connor lore. Just a Minx replies, who the fuck is Connor? And Trippy Grange, okay. Amazing reply, thanks dude. Maggot says, okay. All right. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. And James the Knight replies, the internet.
I don't care about like fucking circle jerking. That's pretty much the end of this. That's pretty much the end of this segment. So, what did we learn from this? What did we learn from all of this? We learned that Bowblax is a petty moron that was trying to obviously get in Minx's pants by pretending to be a big YouTube hotshot when in reality, his content model is not that difficult to replicate. It's actually incredibly easy to replicate. He didn't really need to teach Connor anything, and he was fishing for sympathy points. He was fishing for sympathy from Minx. Because that's all Bowblax can do nowadays. Just fish for sympathy. He is Bowblax, is washed up, never to be successful again, and in copious amounts of debt. And Minx fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, because she doesn't know anything that transpired and wanted to pretend like she was this person, that she wanted to pretend like she was better than all of these individuals because she didn't backstab her friend, even though she doesn't understand exactly what went on.